I'm here with Mike Williams at the United for Healthcare Summit in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he has a very unique education as a chiropractor. Mike, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Hi, yes, as she said, my name is Dr. Mike Williams. I'm a chiropractor in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I'm also a digestive and internal health specialist. So what that means is that I can look at things not only from a chiropractic perspective, which tends to focus more on the mechanical side of things, but also from a nutritional aspect to really delve into why things might be the way they are.
Okay, and so you can counsel people on both nutrition and chiropractic care. Most people are in pain when they come into you. Can you tell us, how does the nutrition angle tie in with the pain? How could somebody, how do you counsel them on that?
Sure, yeah, it all depends on the cause. So if it is an issue that is long-standing, or if there's not something that is a direct relationship, I did this and that's why I hurt, then the mechanical side of things starts to get a little bit less likely. Usually there's something, I slipped on ice and that's why I hurt. Those types of things lead to mechanical type injuries. If it's not, then I start to think it's more of a nutritional component, or the possibility goes up that it's something other than mechanical.
Can you give us an example?
So something like low back pain, for example. If you don't have a traumatic injury, so 60% of non-traumatic low back pain has a kidney component along with it. That doesn't mean you have kidney disease, it just means there may be some stress on the kidneys. What happens when an organ starts to experience stress is that the muscles around it will tighten. The muscles around your kidneys are kind of centered around the lower back, so that creates tension on the lower back and can cause a lot of the issues that people tend to associate with as throwing their back out or some of those low back issues. That was one of the struggles I had early on in practice, is that I would see patients and for a reason I couldn't understand, I couldn't help them get well with just adjusting alone. I would give some people adjustments with low back pain and they would get better. Other patients with low back pain, I couldn't. And it didn't sit well with me that people with the same problem, two low back patients, got the same treatment and had very different results. So that's when I set out to find the answer, or at least a way to find the answer, and that's what led me to the digestive and internal health specialty, because it gave me the tools to be able to look into some of those other areas.
That makes sense, because when I hear kidney, I think urinary tract infection could be one of the parts, and that could be possible because people are eating too much sugar and too much like GMO chicken. I hear from Dr. Mercola that chicken fed, from CAFO lots has like 90% of the bacteria that causes UTIs comes from that type, that types of conventionally fed chicken. Mm-hmm. So in your practice, you would be asking people what they eat and having them log their diets.
Of course.
Is that how you would sort of work with them?
Yeah, and one of the tests that we run, so primarily from a nutritional standpoint, I want to know how well do they digest their food. Can they break down the 3 macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fats? And if they can't, what are the consequences of being deficient in one of those things, or depending on only one of those sources to fuel the body? So if we can find out, and the way I do that is with a specialized urinalysis. It's 24-hour urinalysis, an integrated urine panel. And I call it a full body audit. So we collect for 24 hours, and it helps us to see then what does the body have too much of that is trying to dump, what does the body have a shortage of that is trying to hang on to. And then the relationship of those values helps us to see how well the body's balancing. Anytime we introduce something into the body, it's forced to respond to it and balance back out. The amount of energy that it takes to balance shows how the body deals with things and how stress is being applied into the body.
Well, I'm a huge fan of chiropractors, and I'm also a huge fan of utilizing nutrition in our healing, because I know our body can heal itself when you're putting the right nutrition in. So I think what you're doing is brilliant. How can people find out more about you, and how can they find your office?
Yeah, they can. We are local in Grand Rapids. So in Grand Rapids, Michigan, you can also go to our website, williamschiropracticgr.com, and you can find more information about my practice on the website.
Okay, and if they can't find you locally, what would they tell their chiropractor to say, hey, I want you to get educated like this and to do this? How would they direct their chiropractor to more information?
The way that I did it was something called the Food Enzyme Institute. So you can look up, I think their website is foodenzymeinstitute.com. You can go there, and they do have a list of providers or a way to find providers in your area that are certified through the same institute that I am. And if there's chiropractors that want to pursue that, or healthcare providers that want to pursue that, there's ways to sign up for their classes on the website as well.
Great. And so what I'm understanding is that the focus is to test each person so that you understand how they break down their foods, where they might be eating too much of something, which might be overloading their system and contributing to their pain.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And then you adjust them as well. So you manage the bones and the muscle and the tissue and all that kind of stuff along with nutrition.
Yes, because there's the nutritional side of things, how well the body can run, and then there is the physical component. We talked about those muscle contractions that do create joint dysfunction and things that have to be addressed immediately with adjustments to help the body balance and get past the issue that they're dealing with.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share this with us. I'm so happy that you're doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Great.